I would literally have to force myself to sit down and meditate. When you start overcoming yourself, you start becoming who you really want to be.
Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Lucy Davis and this is the beautiful Wendy Smith that some of you have met recently on some videos that we have been doing. Now, over the last week, I've got goosebumps, literally immediately. As soon as I thought about it, my eyes started watering and I got goosebumps all over me. In the last week, we are filming this on Thursday, the 18th of August. And in the last week, both Wendy and myself have been absolutely privileged. There is no other word to say other than that. We have been privileged to be in the company of a master, a great teacher, a great human, an all-round really good guy, fun guy, full of banter, humble, in the form of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Indeed, plus 2,527 other like-minded souls, all wanting to achieve similar outcomes.
Exactly. So, you know, we could just talk about like literally the species that is Dr. Joe for the next 5 hours, right? We really could. He's an incredible man. His vibration is just absolutely out there. His love that he's got, his passion for the work that he does, you know, and a lot of the ladies were like, have you checked out his arms? Even a guy said to me, is that six-pack under there that I can see? And so do you get what I mean? Like completely it blew me away in every sense of the word. And I feel, you know, I don't just want to sit here and gush all over Dr. Joe, but I just want to give him a little bit of recognition and, you know, really just say thank you from my heart. And I'm sure you from your heart, Wendy, in the sense that, you know, we have both been doing this work for quite some time. And I'm not talking Dr. Joe's work. I mean, we've been on our own respective healing journeys. We have become people who work with people all around the world to help them heal their trauma. And I don't know about yourself, Wendy, I'll get you to explain in a minute, but I found Dr. Joe in about 2019, 2020. And I was blown away that this beautiful human was out there talking very much from a scientific perspective of the stuff that I was channeling, and it blew me away that somebody was going to actually help the people that were logical and methodical and didn't get the whole channeling experience and thought that channeling was bad or ugly or whatever. So, you know, let's just start there. When did you find Dr. Joe?
Well, mine was very simple. Sorry, I've got your nan floating about in front of me. We won't explain what that is, but
hi Nanny.
Just made me chuckle. Sorry, I just grabbed her as well quite roughly. I do apologise.
It's all right, she deserves it sometimes, bless her heart. She loves getting involved. She's always there.
She's gonna cut my nose. So yeah, around about 2018 I came across him. 2019 I went to an event with a friend of mine which involved Joe and Greg Braden.
Okay, cool.
So that was interesting, lovely day event. The thing that interests me initially about Joe Dispenza was that I had a motorbike accident in 1989 and I broke my back and severed my spinal cord and had the same prognosis as him. Doctor said you'll never walk again, but my head was like, what are they talking about? Now I ended up walking out of hospital 8 months later on crutches, and my walking, as Lucy knows, is not massively fast, you know, quite laboured. I didn't know I had it. I just did what I thought was best. You know, I went back to the gym, tried to exercise, integrate back into life. So what fascinated me when I heard his story was like, oh, wow, there's something that can be done that I've not known about. So then I started deep diving into his work. I just wanted to know more, and just listened. So that was part of the reason for me wanting to go to the event, was not necessarily to heal my condition, it was to learn. I wanted to learn the knowledge and deep dive for 7 days into that energy so I could feel it, so I could know it, so that when I could get home I could do something with it.
I love that. I love that so much. And everybody, I think it's fair to say, everybody that we met there had a different story as to why they wanted to attend. Personally, for me, I was very much like you, Wendy. I wanted to hear the science to back up what I was channeling. you know, the mysticism side of things, I think I can say for both of us, like we're quite out there.
Massively,
You know,
yeah.
we're quite out there, we're quite connected, you know, there's always room for improvement, please don't get me wrong, but we kind of get that bit of it. For me, it was, how do I explain to the men predominantly that come to me and say, Lucy, I really want to work with you because I really love the results that you get, but they needed something logical, scientific, that they could actually tap into. And this is why I was very, very grateful in 2019, early 2020, when I found Dr. Joe, because I was looking, I had put it out there that I needed to find somebody who was much more on my wavelength, for want of better words.
Yeah.
You know, I'd been focusing on the business side of things because I had these gifts and I was helping people heal all around the world. But I was looking for something. And you know, I found him, and he was doing an event in June 2020 in Hawaii with Bruce Lipton and, you know, some other people that I thought were absolutely phenomenal. So I booked the ticket, but of course, due to COVID, I got blocked from going there.
Yeah.
So I kind of forgot about him. Sorry if you ever listen to this, but I did. I kind of forgot about it and went on my journey. And as you know, I was, you know, quite involved with the awakening on the planet, as you were yourself, Wendy. And, you know, because the focus kind of changed for a little while through 2020. But in 2021, he started speaking to me. His soul started speaking to me and was like, look, you know, if you want to do this, you know, come and experience it, you know, come and see what else can be done. And that's what happened. You know, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to the London event, and my God,
Yeah.
All I can say is, my goodness, you know.
Yeah, when you're there in person, it's a whole different experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, you know, I know we're going to cover a few different aspects. One thing that it made me aware of is tiredness it's a manufactured virtual reality state. There is no tiredness.
No.
The first day when we were told, you know, you're going to be up at 6 o'clock every morning, and then after 2 days, you're now going to be up at 4 o'clock tomorrow to be in here for a 4-hour meditation. And then we're going to be up at 5 o'clock tomorrow. The first day when you're told you're going to be up, your body sort of it's the body goes, oh God, like does like a Kevin and Perry moment.
That's a little hissy fit, like a teenager. Oh,
yeah,
Mom.
what are you doing to me? Once you change perception around it though, and you get into, I mean, we were doing 6 in the morning till 7 at night. You know, sort of sometimes 6-hour meditations. And
just to put some perspective on that, if we had to be in to start a meditation at 6 o'clock, we needed to be in the room by 5:30. What that meant was getting up at 4:30, 4:45, so that we could be ready and get into the room. So for myself, most people know, you know, if I have to be in a room to start meditating at 4 o'clock, I've got to get up at 2:30 in the morning, even though it's only a 3-minute walk, 5-minute walk for me, walking at my pace, not so much for Wendy, but I, you know, because I've got things that I do to protect myself and look after myself and nourish myself and all of that stuff before I can even go to this. So it wasn't just a 4 o'clock in the morning start, or a 6 o'clock in the morning, or even a 5 o'clock in the morning start, because we did one of those as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was you were getting up in the middle of where you are in your most profound superconscious state, producing the most amount of melatonin, and it is a weird experience to be able to wake up and do life on multiple days concurrently in that space.
Yeah, indeed. The 2:30, the 2:30 get up was interesting, because I felt like I was just walking about in a trance. I just floated over to the Excel, floated into the meditation. And when we started, I mean, I got really cold. The room was really cold, and what I'd done is walked out the hotel in a t-shirt and gone, weather, 2:30 in the morning. Oh, it's really warm, so I won't need anything else than my sweatshirt. Gone over there. I thought it was an hour into the meditation, I started getting really cold and was having to like Reiki myself warm and stuff. And then he said, come back to me now, open your eyes. There you go, it's 8:20. And I was like, what? Hang on, we've only done an hour, you know. And so I'd only got cold in the last probably 10 minutes, but I thought, I'd been freezing for hours. It was just so weird. And when he said, you know, we've done 4.5 hours, it was like,
we all cheered, didn't we? We were like, he's lying. My first thought was he was lying to us, you know, and I'm happy to say that. And I looked at the girl next to me, and she looked at me and she was like, there's no way. And then he said the time, and then I looked on my phone and I was like, what? And we just started cheering, didn't we? Because it was absolutely amazing.
Because it was breakfast time.
Yeah, I know. We were like, oh my God, a bit of warmth, get a hot cup of tea and things like that. The room was cold, babe. The room was cold. It really did drop, which was a good sign because it meant we went so high, right? We actually went flying. Can I just take a step back, babe? Because I know a lot of people will be getting really excited hearing this. And I'm sorry to take us back a little bit, but I just want to cover off for people that may be in the fortunate position that they could go to an event like this. Let's talk about what happened before the event, because I always find it quite interesting in leading up to an event. And I would imagine when we do seminars and retreats and things like that, people have the same apprehension and, you know, the questions that go through their minds. So I'm sorry to take us backwards a little bit.
Oh, no, that's good.
But I would like to, you know, did anything come up for you leading up to the event?
Yeah, massively, because of the physical condition. And I'd already been, due to my walk-in limitations, I'd had to let them know beforehand. So I had an online medical. So they had a chat with me about certain things because she wanted to make sure I really knew what I was going to and if I needed any extra help or anything like this. And then she said to me, would you like to go on the list to be a Healy? And I said, what's a Healy? And she said, we do group healing sessions where people lay down and you have 8 people send like love, light energy into you, blah, 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 for healing. And I went, oh yeah, that sounds fun. You know, not really sort of thinking about it. I went, oh yeah, that sounds fun. She said, well, I'll put you into the process. And then I was contacted and told that I'd gone from 1,000 down to 800, been selected through. And if you don't hear anything back after that point, you've not been selected. So I hadn't heard anything, but it had started something ticking inside of me. So I was already starting to think like, am I going to come out of there running? Do you know what I mean? Am I going to? So, and I had to say to my brain, no, just stop. That's not what your initial intention was for going. Your initial intention was for going for learning and experience. So I had to keep taking that and moving that away because it was actually causing me a little bit of stress and anxiety prior.
Yeah, good. And that's what I want people to hear, Wendy, because a lot of the times, you know, people come to my retreats, you know, and I have like 30 people on a retreat, something like that. And they go, God, I've been really nervous about coming. And we kind of forget these things, don't we? Because we're the people that lead these retreats and we help people and we know that we can help people break through like that. We kind of take it for granted. And this is why I love the fact, because I had apprehension and, you know, things like that leading up as well. So you had this, your brain was kicking in, your ego was kicking in, you were going on a journey whereby obviously a different level of healing was coming up for you to recognize, not just your physical healing, you know, but I think it's fair to say that there was a lot of people that had a lot of high expectations, right?
Oh, massively. And this is the whole thing in life, isn't it? If you can get rid of the expectation, so not get rid of it, but lower the emotional arousal to the expectation. If the expectation is full of joy and love and, you know, all those beautiful feelings, I think it's a really good thing to run it. If you've got what I was having, you know, anxiety, so that's when that expectation is not serving you, drop it, move it, shift it. And like you say, you know, running the retreat, I didn't even think about this, Lucy, and that's a really good reminder. We ran a retreat in March this year, and some of the people, after we'd done the initial day, were like, oh, you know, we're glad that you did this and this, because we didn't know what we were doing, you know, the logistics of everything. It was like, oh, God, yeah, actually. It's a good thing to put in place for all future events, whatever we're doing, retreats and stuff, to make sure people know prior to, you know, what happens when you arrive. You know, what sort of times you're going to be getting up. Give them rough times for breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, other things they're going to experience, because then the system calms down, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's funny.
My expectation, like I say, once I got rid of the anxiety, I was like, I'm going to a Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, someone's going to heal me. What's going to happen? What if I don't heal? Do you know what I mean? I was running the doubtful what ifs.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, so for me, obviously mine was, we've got to do some pre-coursework
Yeah.
to go to the event, and I'm away in Europe. I'm only back for a week, and then I'm back in Europe again, and then I literally land and go to this event. And so I had that, oh my God, I'm too busy. Oh my gosh, how am I going to fit this in? And I did fit it in, you know, and when we got that test come through, I did pass the test with flying colours, you know, but there was that whole self-doubt, making time. And actually, this is again something that I really do feel that people will probably need to hear is, if you're committing to something, commit to it. Don't commit to it and then go, oh my gosh, and talk yourself out of it. Like, that's your ego. Your ego will do that a couple of days before an event. Oh my God, what if you don't know anyone? What if there's no one to speak to? What if nobody wants to talk to you? Like, that's just bullshit. All of that noise is bullshit. And thankfully, I don't ever have that. But I did have, I'm too busy for this. I've been away a lot. You know, how am I going to make the time for this? And just jumping right forwards to now, it's the best thing that I have done is take that week out for myself. Even after the travel and stuff like that I've done, I feel right now in this present moment, the best that I felt in a very, very, very long time, more connected and all the rest of it. And we will get to that. But I just want you guys to know, sometimes even your mentors have to step out of their comfort zones. Even your mentors have the ego and the excuses and everything else that crops up. So I just wanted to give a little bit of perspective, because sometimes, you know, people say to me, oh yeah, but Lucy, you've got your shit together so much. And I'm like, huh, you wait till that photo comes out of me blubbing by the freaking tree, and I'm going to share it with my following. And yes, I've got a decent sized following and all the rest of it. I don't care that I'm you know, that I really didn't look very attractive crying, but I'm going to share it so you guys know it's safe to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's safe to let go of these programs and these stories that we've been running, the emotional trauma that you've been holding on to. And this is somebody who's been banging on for the last, you know, since 2018 that I've released it, because I have released it, but it didn't mean that there wasn't emotions coming up in me that I hadn't felt in a very, 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 very long time. Beautiful emotions, loving emotions, emotions that I've been like manifesting for the last however long, you know, like, yes, it's coming, and boom, it came.
Yeah, we've had this put into our heads. It's getting over yourself, isn't it?
Yes.
The one thing that made me laugh all week, the distance to the XL from our hotel was not that far. I could throw a brick and hit it. When you start walking it, it's a lot further than what you think. Even just there, literally, I could seriously throw a brick and hit it. And the challenges I was having was the body would get, because I have a certain distance I have to stop, and then I have to recharge the legs, and then I go, it doesn't take long to recharge the legs, but they have to stop. They will tell me, they'll start kicking the floor and they go, no, we're done. So I would have to stop maybe 10 times, just stand and have a brief conversation. I do it with conversation with people, and then I walk again. So I sort of slide it in, but my head was going, oh, we can't do this. And I was literally hearing myself going, oh, shut up, don't be so stupid.
Good on you.
So I was having like this two-way conversation through the whole 7 days.
Oh, good on
where
you.
I think I need to go to the toilet. The toilet's nearly like a quarter of a mile. I mean, they were a long way until we discovered the ones backstage that we were allowed to use. It was quite funny because my head would be going, oh, but it's so far, like this. I'd be going, oh, just shut up. I'm not interested in that. And that's what you can do. That's how you shut the old programs down, by observing them.
And talk to it, to frig it.
Just go, shut up. What are you talking about? You love it.
Shut up is quite polite compared to what I say to mine.
Because we're on here.
Maybe I'll try that next time. Maybe I'll try that. So just a couple of things that have come up whilst we've been talking. I love what you said about tiredness. I had a conversation with somebody just yesterday, and, you know, they were like, oh, the profound energies, and, you know, I feel really whacked and everything. And I've gone, do you know what? I've decided that although I'm still going to pay attention to the Schumann resonance, because I love it. I love to see the peaks and troughs, and the peaks that we created through the event was absolutely unbelievable. However, I am no longer buying into the emotion that I've attached to that I'm going to get tired. I've decided there is no more tiredness within me. I can get up. And I was out doing my walking meditation at 5 o'clock this morning. You know, I went for a run straight after. Yesterday I didn't do that. Today I decided, no, you had one day of rest, Lucy. You know you can do this. Get up. Like, I used to do this. I used to train at 4:30 every single morning. before I moved back here. So why am I not doing that again? So I've got my mind back in the game. I've given my body and my mind a little bit of a break and just said, look, you know, immerse in the beach because I've got the ocean just there, you know, have your day of doing that. But, you know, Thursday, the 18th of August, you get up and you get going and you move and you start this again. So just be very aware, ladies and gents, that it could be something as simple as the Schumann resonance, you know, those beautiful electric magnetic fields that come off of what we're, you know, the vibration that that Gaia is giving out. You could have a program running that says, oh, it's peaking, I'm allowed to be tired today.
Yeah.
Quite often we forget and we think, oh no, that's an okay program to be running. No, it's not. Call yourself out on it. Sorry, Wendy.
Yeah. No, that just ties into, I don't know if you remember what he was saying about all the different programs we run around, you know, astrology. I love astrology and stuff like this, but he says be careful when you're using them as an excuse not to connect in and move forwards. So when certain planets go retrograde, or, you know, I mean, I'm a flat earth believer, so, you know, I have to be a bit careful what I say. But if you're thinking about all of those aspects and someone's telling you that at the moment this is happening so you will feel tired, at the moment this is happening so you will feel angry, at the moment this is happening so you will feel like you have a lack of something, that is a belief you then hold and act on. Whereas when you drop back into the field and you know that you're creating from this space up here, we're in a virtual reality down here, that's all just part of your virtual reality, so you can shift it at any point and go, well, yeah, the planets are spinning around and gone left, right, you know, backwards, forwards and up your backside. It doesn't mean that I've got to feel this. I can just make the decision in the now to go, no, actually, I'm going to feel this instead. And then you work on the other feeling. And from what I've experienced so far, it shifts really quick.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And you know how we all go, oh God, I manifested that really quickly, like it's that, but it's just a higher vibrational level of that from my perspective. I don't call it manifestation. It's literally imprinting. This is how I explain it to people, is it's imprinting into the quantum field to bring it in very, very quickly, as long as it's aligned authentically to how you truly feel. You can't blag this stuff. I tell people all the time, I've been saying this for many, many years, you can't blag the universe, stop it. Like, you know, I want to be beautifully thin and beautifully fit, but behind closed doors, you're eating the chocolate biscuits and you're like, God, I'm so fat. Never going to happen. You're never going to get it. So stop doing that stuff. Just one other thing that I wanted to do before we move forwards further. You mentioned about how organized the event was, and a level of organization is really helpful for the attendees, like, you know, to get rid of pre-event nerves, things like that. I just want to give a huge congratulations to those guys. How well planned was it? Like, we didn't know times and things like that. It was very loose what we knew, but the snacks, the food, the setup, it was, I don't know about you, Wendy, but it was phenomenal.
To transform, transmove, trends, I can't even speak, I don't know. But to move 2,527 people about in the fashion that we did, when they said there's 2,500 of us, my first thought was like, shit, how on earth do we get all these people in there? It's going to take hours. You didn't even notice there was 2,527 people in that space. It just seemed like a couple of hundred people until you stood in the corner of the room when everyone was sat down and had a look, and then it was like, wow, there is actually 2,500 people in this room. The transition points were so easy, and when they hit a snag point, like with the dining hall, they adjusted it.
Oh my! I actually went up to Kelly and said to her, "Thank you so much." The way that an issue got raised and it got dealt with immediately. Like, I've been to events before where it's just never spoken about. The same problem just happens every single day. It's never spoken about. But what I loved about the organisation and the fact they must love doing these events because they want to make it as smooth as possible. As soon as there were blockages going into the dining hall, they sorted it. As soon as there was issues in the amount of food available for people, they sorted it. You know, it just wasn't, nothing was a question, like an issue, was it? It was just, okay, cool, we hear you, we're going to do something about it. And they were very communicative, which I loved.
Yeah, there were no points where you thought, I don't know, apart from I think it was the last day where I remember I looked at 3 other people and went, what time are we meant to be? Because I was floating around in the ether at this point. I think someone had hold of my foot, just walking me about like a balloon. And I was just like, what time are we meant to be back for the last session? And everyone was like, oh, I don't know. let's watch the queues. When people line up, we'll line up. I mean, it was, you know, it had got to that
we were a little bit out there by that point though, babe, weren't we? Like I know I can only speak on behalf of myself when I say I left there and I was flying. I set the intention that I was going to imprint as much as I possibly could from a space of love on the tube on the way, and my goodness, did that happen. I helped a man get to where he needed to go literally from the second I set the intention. Then I ended up walking back past my old JP Morgan building where I used to work before I actually, you know, went through all of these transitions. And I stood there looking up at it and I was like, of course I had to end up here, didn't I? I had to end up here today to just have it slapped in my face, because the whole time we were doing the walking meditations, I was looking out over Canary Wharf, which is where my physical burnout took place. So I was faced with with the thing that broke me, or that attempted to break me, every single day I was there. And I found that really quite empowering. And to be there, to walk out of the station and just look up and be like, fuck, you know, it's there, like it's there. And so I just took a photo and I said, you know what, I'm just going to blast them full of love. And I'm going to say thank you for every experience that you gave me. And I'm going to get on that tube and I'm going to skip the heck out of there. And I met a beautiful man who was traveling. I don't know where he was traveling, but all over the place. He was an American traveling all over. And he, because of the love that I showed him and the conversation, he started like guiding people off the tube and all sorts of stuff. Like, it was brilliant. And that's the imprint that we're talking about. But again, I've jumped ahead. So
you can spread it. I got in my car. I had some random people just wanting to carry my bags and do random things.
Beautiful.
And I'm learning
it though, Wendy.
I'm learning to go, okay, then if I dropped a walking stick, you know me, I'm on the floor, up it comes, you know, and I'd have people coming over going, oh, let me get that for you. Normally I'd be going, no, it's okay, nothing to see here, it's fine. And I'd be like, oh, okay, thank you. But I got in my car, I gave my car love. So I loved my car when I got in my car. I was loving the steering wheel. And then, oh, Lucy, this is one thing. Intention. Sorry, viewers, for all this. This is how quick things manifest. The car park should have cost me £18 a day in the hotel, or £36 a day if you're a non-resident, right? So I had in my head, I only want to pay £36 for my week's worth of parking. And I'd been thinking about it while we were doing one of the meditations at some point. When I got into the hotel and trotted up to reception, I said, can you validate my parking ticket for me, please? I was expecting like 100 and whatever quid. Yeah. So she's gone, dink, there you go, just away you go. Like I'd paid it with my card without even looking, just gone, dink. Walked down, got in the car, and as I'd looked at the ticket to put it in the machine, it said £36. Dink.
There you go. That's what happens.
Sent the machine some love.
That was some love back to you, because you had allowed other people to love you. And that's a real big deal for you, right? It was a big deal, allowing, like, surrendering to the feminine and saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, I will have your help. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you know? Sorry, you just said that. That's just another little thing. Again, apologies.
You don't need to apologise.
These things are going to keep popping in. All of my healers, when we were doing that, were all female. I had no male energy in there at all. I was being hit with pure feminine energy the whole way through. Not
that you needed it, hey?
No. We'll cover this at some point in the future, but my heart is the one thing that needed working on for those who are watching.
Yeah, we'll definitely do lots of these. We'll do lots of these sessions, because I love speaking with you, and I know you love speaking to me too.
I do. It's lovely to share as well, isn't it?
And it's just pure love. That's all it is pure love. We've reunited to do something, and we've got there. You know, we've got to the point now where we're able to do that. So, overcoming self.
Yes.
That was the biggest takeaway, I think, from the whole event. And actually, Wendy, it's very prevalent through mine and your work, isn't it? My brand is called Self-Love Club, you know, kind of speaks for itself there. Yeah. And I was just blown away by how much the things that I've been talking about, the way that my program has been created is very in alignment with his. He just has this beautiful scientific backing and studies and everything to prove what he's doing, which is absolutely phenomenal. So let's just talk a little bit about overcoming self. When, like, what did that look like for you? How did?
So yeah, it's, see, I can relate to this so much because I see it in so many clients of mine with the coaching I do. So I do it sort of slightly similar to Lucy, but more, I do practical coaching and trauma release. But in my clients, I can see them, it's the twitching, the moving, the, you know, when your body becomes your mind and it's got these habits that it wants to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the main takeaway I took from this. I'm always aware of my thoughts. You know, I've worked in neuroprogramming for 20 plus years. So this thing, I'm fully aware. But for the overcoming of self, it's when you, like this morning, when I got up, I didn't have to really overcome myself to go and sit in the garden and do my first meditation, which was interesting. My coffee I'm just having now, this would normally be done as soon as I get out of bed.
Yeah, amazing.
So what, like hours and hours later. But it was literally, I got up with a feeling of, I want to go sit in the garden. I want to connect back to that space. I want to feel love before I start. I want my pigeons to follow me around the garden as if they're in love with me, so I nearly trip over them when I'm meditating. You know, I want that feeling. So for me, prior to the event, I would literally have to force myself to sit down and meditate.
Oh, interesting.
Do it, but I would be going to the body, having conversations with it. It'd be going, no, we've got more important things to do over here. If you just go and do that thing that you were meant to do yesterday, that's much more important than meditation. Or it'd go, I'll just stick Netflix on. You can meditate an hour before you go to bed, you know. So I'd literally like have to force myself to turn things off and go, no, you will sit your ass down and do this shit.
Yeah, do as you're told.
Yeah, and that's the thing, to let people know that, you know, you're gonna come up against yourself. When you start overcoming yourself, you start becoming who you really want to be. And it was that aspect that this 7 days has really drilled into me. For anybody out there watching this, you want to change, you want to become a Wimbledon tennis star, you don't hit a ball once a day or once a week. You know, when I was a GB athlete playing wheelchair basketball, I trained 30 hours a week to be good.
Yeah.
I didn't just shoot a ball once and go, that's it, I'm a Paralympian. And meditation, connecting back into that field, creating change in your life, you've got to get past yourself. And it really is a bloody challenge.
Yeah.
It's not simple, but once you crack it and you get good at it, then it becomes easy, and then it becomes a joy, and then you want to do it. So it's for everybody watching this, it's going to be painful. I'm going to tell you, it's going to hurt you. You're going to get frustrated and wound up. But the more you sit in that space and you go back to the love and you go, no, we're just going to do this. We're going to just do 10 minutes now. We'll do 10 minutes later. So you start training your body, you know, for the outcomes you want, rather than letting it just run your life. And it is a challenge, Lucy, because we're in the VR experience.
Exactly. And I love the fact that you touched on the fact that practice makes perfect, without saying those words. Like, we got to practice this stuff. If you want the mystical experiences, if you want to get connected to the divine, if you are chasing, I mean, so many of my clients go, I just want what you've got. I want to be able to see, I want to get these experiences. I want to be called all around the world. I want to channel a program. I want what you've got, Lucy. But they aren't prepared to go to the depths that I've had to go to get there. And that's the thing. I spoke with somebody just yesterday, going off on a little tangent, viewers. I spoke with somebody just yesterday, and he said to me, I don't know anyone at all with your ethic to your journey. And I was like, wow, really? Because he's really freaking disciplined. He went, you're more disciplined than me. You are more focused. And it's because I just surrender and trust to everything. Like, if I get called to Mongolia, I go. If I get called to, honestly, I've had some really funny callings in the last week. So, you know, South Africa, like, I'll go. I don't have to question it anymore. I just have to surrender and say, okay, I'm trusting that you've got my back to pay for it, first and foremost. To bring it in. I see myself there, and I just trust that I'm safe and that I'm protected and I'm very, very well. Now, I haven't done that just by waking up one day and deciding I want to be spiritual. I want to have a connection to the divine. what happened was I got beaten black and blue until I had to sit with myself. And like Wendy said, you know, through my last healing journey, not the first one in 2014, where I sat with myself every single day for 14 months.
Yeah.
This is the second healing journey I went on in 2018, where I nearly died. I had to sit with myself and go on a journey. And I probably was doing the hours of work, so 35, 40 hours a week in meditative states,
Yeah.
in nature, connecting, fasting, doing things like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, you've got to invest in this, and you've got to get your priorities in alignment. If you want these experiences, put yourself in a place whereby you can. Now, you can do this around work, because I can hear all of the egos going, yeah, well, I've got a job to do, I've got this to do,
Haven't got the time. Haven't got the
Exactly.
time. Yeah.
You know, how can you make time to do that, Lucy? You know, it's all right for you. You don't have kids, you don't have that. No, but I've got a very, very, very busy business. And I've had to surrender that busy business and go, do you know what? This is for me. I didn't know what I was going for when I got there. And just one thing before I hand back over to you, Wendy, just going back to like what I found, the thing that happened to me is I didn't realize, because I can connect to the divine, God, whatever you want to call it, on a day-to-day basis. I speak to a client instantly, I get the downloads, I know exactly what's going on with them, I can tap into it, and I can tap into what they need to do to heal, where their traumas come from. I've always gone, yeah, I'm connected to the divine. Yeah, of course, you know, the divine is there for me to tap into. God, you know, blah, 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 blah. What I realized on about day 2 or day 3 of this event was that the divine was there for me rather than here for me. Now, back in the early stages of my journey, the divine was here, and that's how I'd been getting all the messages and everything. But I'd gently over the years pushed it out because I knew that I had the connection, and this just brought it straight back in. And it was a very emotional day when I realized that.
Right.
And I feel very, very, very different now, because, and that was overcoming self. Oh, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, I've got the connection, I'm good. You know, I can tap into it. But when it landed back in my heart, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I needed to overcome.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Oh God, I could sobbed my heart out, Wendy. I sobbed my heart out for such a long period of time. I just let it go.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, you know, we can't be holding those emotions in. We've got to stand there. And interestingly, actually, it was the first day of the first walking meditation, so whatever day that was. And I remember I was letting it all go. And I had mascara on that day, and it was all running down my face. And I just remember at the end, when it was over, I looked up and I locked eyes with Dr. Joe, and I just mouthed to him, thank you. Because I'd remembered in that walking meditation that I had the divine no longer within me, and I brought it straight back in, and it landed in my heart space, and it was just freaking amazing.
Because it's just that we all have that ability to connect. Yeah. I think that's just two points in there. One, you said about the parents. So I just remember something he said, I don't know what day it was on or at what point, but it stuck in my head. He said, when parents are going, I don't have time because of the kids, do the meditation with the kids. Teach the children who they can be. Teach them who they can be. Because while you're going, I haven't got time because I've got to deal with you, sit them down with you, or say to them, I am going to sit there for 20 minutes and connect with myself. You're welcome to join me.
Yeah.
You know, sit the kids down with you, get them to start doing it. Be what you want them to see and you want them to be. That was something that was really just really struck a chord with me, because I work with in schools with kids a lot and with their parents. The other thing as well was the heart. We know, me and Lucy have had many conversations, for those of you watching this, around me and my healing, and my heart has been shut for, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe 40 years, just proper closed off. You know, I felt love. I love my dog, you know, my baby bear, and I've got love for people, but my internal heart, it shut me off from so many experiences. And I know one thing he said, until your heart is healed, nothing else in your life will get healed. So coming back to that, what did you want to heal when you were being a Healy? I just put the intention, I just want my heart healed. I just want to heal my heart now, because this thing has been shut for so long. You know, I'm always smiling. People always see me as, oh, Wendy's so happy, so cheery. You know, she's so loving. they've not felt anything yet because it's been closed.
Yeah.
And now when I smile, my heart lifts up.
Yeah.
So I know
I love that. I love that. I remember when you told me that, I was just like, oh,
I like a crazy person. Go, Luce, look at this. My heart's lifting up. And it's, you know, it's such a nice feeling just to feel this thing opening now. So I'm really fine because I know like life will be changing.
Well, it's making me emotional because of the conversation that we had a week or two before the event, whereby, you know, we had to go pretty deep with you, didn't we? Where the heart was, because, you know, there was a bit of a resistance to some stuff that had come up, and thankfully we spoke about it, didn't we? So for me, I've got goosebumps all over me. For me to watch you go through that and lose, I'm smiling and my heart's lifting. It's just, oh, Wendy, honestly, I couldn't be happier for you.
Yeah, because I said, you know, I just know when this is sorted out, I can heal anything in my life. I'll sort the walking out at some point. I've had it 33 years, you know, another however long, really not going to bother me. And I know that I will be running again at some point in the future now. As soon as this thing's healed, I can sort that, you know. So
bring it the fuck on, mate. That's what I say. Bring it the fuck on. So I love that what we've been talking about here. Just quickly going back to the kids, what's really fascinating is through 2020 and 2021, I ran something called Self-Love Club for Kids. So obviously my program's called Self-Love Club. When lockdown took place, I was like, oh my God, the kids, what are we going to do about the kids? You know me, Wendy, I love the kids and I want to help the kids. And so I started running a daily program for free for the children to come and tap into, where we did meditations, we did yogas, we did all sorts of different things, breath work, things like that. And, you know, just coming back to the time for the parents, find the time to do it together. And there was a story that Dr. Joe shared actually, and I love it so much, and I can resonate, because this is what I used to do with my little sisters when I lived with my dad and them. So he said at some point through the event that he used to go and meditate at a specific time every single day. He would put his eye mask on and he would go and sit in a room and he would meditate, and his kids just knew that that's what he did from a young age. They just knew that that's what he did. And then when he didn't meditate because he was sick or something like that, the children would go to him with his eye mask and say, you know, you've got to go and do it. It's that time of day. Or maybe he was a little bit anxious or wound up or something. They would literally go and get it and be like, because they knew the impact that it had on their lives. Like, ladies and gents, we need to empower our children. Like, we have been holding them back. Yeah. We need to let them see that this is normal. We have got so disconnected from ourselves, being busy, providing things. Your kids don't want things. They want your time. They want your presenteeism. And if that means sitting in a meditation with the two of you, like my little sisters love to meditate with me. They love it so much. Like, don't get me wrong, I can feel that they've got their eyes shut and they open one just to check I'm still there, kind of thing, from time to time. But, you know, it's so funny when they used to do that when they were little. But this is about the imprint that you are leaving in their life. Like, normalize meditation, normalize that you have to take some time out, normalize love for yourself. Yeah. And
I like that. I like that. Normalize love for yourself. Because I'll tell you one thing, this is relevant today, actually. I just jumped on Twatbook earlier, just to have a quick look. Facebook. And
face ache, I call it. Face ache.
And so basically the first post that came up, I'm not a scroller, so I was just going to put on next, I check Messenger through Facebook, so a lot of people contact me for that. And the first thing I saw was someone saying, well done to my son, A-level, this, grade, got into his university and blah, blah, blah. And what I thought it does is all of that, we rate our success and our value as a human being on how many certificates we've got. Now, if I showed you my wall is full of certificates. Certificates they're all what I call, can I swear, Luce?
Yeah, we have done loads.
Yeah, it's just the F word, right? So these are all what I call fuck you certificates. Because I've been into environments where someone said to me, oh, have you got an RQF level 3 in education and training? No, but I'll have one in 6 weeks. So I've gone and done it just because it's right, there you go, there's your fuck you certificate. Now let me do my job. Yeah. Because I've had years of experience of working with people, real-time experience, not read out of textbooks, but through real-time experience. I get results. Yeah. I'll get you a result. You work with me, you'll get a result, right? Yeah. Because I care. It's not coming from a textbook, it's coming from downloads, human experience, personal experience, years of it.
Yeah.
So I'll get you a result. And all I think is while everyone's going, oh, you know, get your A grades, there's kids out there who are never going to get an A grade, but they are the ones that will change this reality when they connect back into here. Yeah. A certificate doesn't mean shit, kids. It really doesn't. All that matters is what you've got in here and what you want to bring to the table. It is as simple as that. I know so many dyslexic multimillionaires who are beautiful people who spread love, you know, and they were told they left school at 14, 15 because they were told they'd just never achieve anything. Yeah. But they did not listen to the program. They didn't compare themselves to others. They didn't feel shit and develop limiting self-beliefs. They just went, you know what, you crack on, I'm going to go and create. Yeah. Kids, that's all you need to do. Go and create.
I love that, Wendy. I really, really love that. I love the passion that's coming through you about this. You know, it's so important. It has to go back to love. Yeah. You know, I've been beating this drum for a long time. And what's really fascinating is even in 2020, so many people were saying to me, Lucy, shut the heck up. Love ain't going to get us anywhere. And I continue to stand in it and I continue to maintain it because I know the most powerful thing on this planet is love, which is why they've attacked it, which is why they've inverted it, which is why they've made all of us shut our hearts down because somebody leaving you for somebody else, oh my God, what a trauma. When in fact, you should be like, thank you for showing me that you aren't my person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for leaving me and going and removing yourself from my life. And thank you for giving me the space. I'm not saying it can't hurt. I'm not saying you shouldn't go through a period of mourning or whatever you need to do, but be grateful for these situations. Yeah. You know, interestingly enough, on the way back from Dr. Joe event, I spoke with my ex. Yeah. Going through a couple of bits during the event. And I was like, look, I can't speak to you till after the event. And, you know, we're good friends now. And on the way back, you know, he said something along the lines of, you must be really glad that we split up, Lucy, because, you know, you've been able to travel so much. I would never have been able to come with you, you know, and be as successful as I have been in my career. And I just said to him, I'm grateful for you every single day. Like, you served a massive purpose in my life. You helped me get on my healing journey, like to heal my heart. Because I met him back in 2014 when I was, you know, I was scarred. I was scarred from relationships. I was scarred from life. I had physically burnt out. Like I needed him to come in and heal, which is why his soul, bless its heart, came in to help me heal, to remind me that it was about love. So I don't have any animosity towards him. Whatever happened between us, it happened. I love him. I don't want to be with him, but I love him because he helped me. Like, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with saying, well, I'm grateful?
There's not, and it's like you say, when you start saying it, someone called me beautiful. Some guy walked up behind me going into the event. It was the 4 o'clock in the morning one, just before I saw you. I think I saw you just before we went in, I think. We did, yes. Yeah. And he just walked up to me, and as he was walking past me, he went, morning, beautiful, your light shining brightly. And he just turned around, smiled, and kept walking. And it was just like, oh, thank you. That's nice to know. This time of the morning, I'm shining brightly. Lovely. Exactly. And so many people just saying just beautiful things to you while you're there. Yeah. Thank you, with gratitude, you know. But the most important one is say it to your bloody self.
Yes.
Look at yourself in the mirror. Stare yourself in the eyes. Everybody, every single body I know who is a living being that I've met has got the most beautiful eyes. I love eyes. Yeah, me too. I love staring into my eyes. I just stare at them. I'm fascinated by them. Go stare yourself in the eyes. Look at your beautiful eyes. Start
and
there.
Tell you that you love you.
Yeah.
The amount of clients that I get to go and look in the mirror and tell themselves they love themselves, and they message me and they're like, I can't stop crying. And I'm like, because you've never said it to yourself. Yeah. You've never looked yourself in the eye and seen your pain and gone, shit, we've gone through a lot. I deserve the love that I give out to everybody else. So do you know what? I'm going to tell you that I love you. Such a quick, easy, cheap thing to do.
Yeah. Maybe we should set that as a little mini task for all the viewers today. 2 things. Go stare at yourself in the mirror, look into those beautiful eyes and tell yourself that, you know, you're grateful for you, you're grateful for breathing, you're grateful for having life, and you love yourself. And then just share some nice comments with people when you're out. Yeah. Genuine. When you genuinely see someone who's got nice shoes, tell them, I love your shoes, mate. You know, I do this to people. If I see people with beautiful hair colours, I just walk up to them and go, "You're
me too. I love all the bright colours.
Yeah, and then just walk off.
Yeah.
And just leave people with it.
You don't need to stand and have a chat. It's literally just sprinkle love wherever you go. And I like doing these challenges, and it actually, I call it random act of kindness, but it's not an act. It's words of kindness. Like, let's shift the spells that have been put on us and actually just start sprinkling those beautiful words. You know, tell people that they look beautiful. You know, make people feel uncomfortable with the compliments that you're giving them. You know, Mahoney's a great example of this. He cringes, he's like, oh, so I do it all the time. And if you're welcome, David, I'm helping you heal. But you know, like, and okay, I'm a friend of his, so I can give him a bit of banter and go there. But just be gentle and be kind with people and love on people for who they are, so that you can help them elevate. Because honestly, you will never know the change that you could make in somebody's day. Your words could make somebody stop themselves jumping in front of a train, for example. And this is a real reality that we're living in right now, ladies and gents. We must own this.
Yeah, definitely. Ownership moving forwards, guys. You want to change anything, change life, change reality, change our VR experience, own it.
Exactly.
Own it and do something
exactly.
about it.
So I think we've covered quite a lot in this video, but the last thing I just want to cover off really quickly, and we'll do another one, ladies and gents. I think we're gonna do a few of these because we've been so blown away by it. And I don't know about you, Wendy, but I feel so validated in the work that I've been doing.
It just makes you want to help more, improve more, improve my coaching, improve the retreat spaces we hold, improve the events we run, improve the bloody energy I'm sending out on a daily basis as well.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not going to get into that now because we'll start talking about that. But there's something I've involved as a meditative practice now.
Good.
Which is
beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So just
we'll do that on another day.
Just to close out, then, you know, there was a lot of meditations we've spoken about. There was a lot of meditations. We did over 35 hours of meditation whilst we were there. That's a lot of meditating. There was a lot of healing sessions, wasn't there? And we'll definitely do one because I want to pick your brains on what it was like from your side. And I think it would be good to hear from my side. So we'll definitely do a separate video on the healings. But there was also this science. And I don't want to give away anything that was spoken about too much, because obviously I do think that needs to come from Dr. Joe's mouth and his team's mouth. They've worked so hard to get this.
The results for that will be out in 2 weeks, won't they? So in 2 weeks' time, when they share the results, maybe we can pull them off the website.
And then perfect. And share it from the website, maybe. Yeah, perfect. I just want to share with you all that they have seen significant, and I mean significant, like way above 50% changes in people when people go from zero to start meditating.
Yeah.
Like huge. And like Wendy said, we'll get it. We'll share the website with you next time we do a chat or whenever we cover that topic. Please trust. You have been so disconnected from source that as soon as you get that jump back together, you are going to be able to heal very quickly. Like I've healed a challenging way compared to the way that he's kind of spoken about, and I'm sure you can resonate with that as well. But that was our path. That was what we decided to do this lifetime. You know, I've been sharing with people recently, like it took me 9 years to get what people are getting in 9 weeks or in 9 months. So like, let's just focus on what we can do for self to be able to heal. And the fundamental truth of the matter is, connect back to this.
That's it. Spend time. And it's so simple as well. Yeah, guys, all you need to do is touch it, feel it, breathe into it, and feel some gratitude. As soon as you start doing that, you start stimulating about 1,100 feel-good chemicals in your body, just for a starter, you know, just for a starter. So just do that, sit with it. 2 minutes of that experience will give you that shot of chemicals for 4 hours.
The other thing that I would like to suggest as well, so I touch my heart many times a day, many times a day, because I just do. The biggest shift that I had in the start of my healing journey was that I would put my hand on my heart when I woke up. Literally, the minute I opened my eyes, I'd put my hand on my heart and I would just say thank you. Because, ladies and gents, tomorrow is not guaranteed. So every day that you wake up and you open your eyes and you can breathe and you can see and you can feel and you can experience this matrix that we're living in, like, put your hand on your heart and just say thank you. And you watch your world change.
It will indeed.
Wendy, my love, Thank you so much for your time, as always. Honestly, this conversation has blown me away. It's taken me straight back to where we were just a couple of days ago. And I would really like us to maybe do a series of these over a few weeks or whatever, just so that we can keep the vibe going and, you know, just really boost our listeners and the people that are, you know, our followers and things like that to another dimension.
Reconnect. That's it.
Amazing.
Get away from separation, back to wholeness. That's
exactly. Ladies and gents, please do remember to hit the thumbs up, share this with any community that you've got that you would feel would benefit from this. Do remember to hit the subscribe channels, and we will be seeing you back super soon. Wendy, once again, thank you very much, my darling lady. I love you to the moon and stars.
Love you too. Pleasure. Thank you, viewers.
See you soon. Take care.